Matthew chapter 16. I think it should be verse number 18. This is after Peter said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And he said, and I say to you that you are Peter. Right? He was Simon, but now he was called Peter. You are Peter. And on this rock, say revelation. So the rock is a revelation. On this rock, I will build my church. Say it's God's church. Then he says, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So there's a department that fights churches called the gates of hell. The church is not the building. The church is the ecclesia, you, the called out one. So he says he uses the gates of hell to fight the church. What is the responsibility of the kingdom of darkness or the gates of hell? They are responsible for watering down your Christianity. All this unseriousness we see amongst believers is the gates of hell. All this refusing to wake up at midnight and pray is the gates of hell. So it is a department, a very thriving department. I think it's the most thriving department in the kingdom of darkness. It's called the gates of hell. Gates of hell are responsible for prayerlessness. Gates of hell are responsible for unholy living. Gates of hell, they are responsible for you being lazy to read your Bible. They are responsible for you ignoring prophetic instructions. So the enemy, using the gates of hell, keeps pushing. He pushes anti-tithing, he pushes anti-giving, he pushes anti-soul winning, using that department in the kingdom of darkness called the gates of hell. Gates of hell. Ultimately, the gates of hell want as few people as possible in heaven and as many people as possible in hell. So the ultimate goal of the gates of hell is to populate hell and to depopulate heaven. The gates of hell are responsible for fighting the finances of the church. The gates of hell, they don't fight businesses of unbelievers. They fight your business. Because your business is supposed to fund the gospel. Could it be that you are blaming the economy when really it is the gates of hell that are fighting you? The gates of hell will sit on a paymaster and make sure he does not pay you simply because you want to use your resources to push the gospel. So you are a victim of the gates of hell. We are going to fight the gates of hell. Why is it easy for unbelievers to just get resources and they buy this car, buy that car, buy the other car, flaunt it online? While believers who are praying to God, they struggle because believers are not fighting the right battle. The right battle is to fight the gates of hell. We're not trying to buy things so we show off. We're trying to win souls. So the enemy will take a stand against the church. If we do not fight the gates of hell, you'll be complaining about the members when the gates of hell are sitting on them. Sometimes after you preach your best message on a Sunday, the next Sunday the church is half empty. Because the gates of hell visits members every single Sunday morning. Sometimes the more you mentor people, the more stubborn they become. It's the gates of hell. Sometimes the more you help people, the more they rebel. It's the gates of hell. Sometimes the more you teach, the more people run away. It's the gates of hell. You want to use sound doctrine. They don't want to hear sound doctrine because it is the gates of hell. Let the false prophets come to town and you see people flocking there. Why? Gates of hell are not fighting him. You want to build a church, the gates of hell will rise up. Why is it easy to buy a personal stand and it's so difficult to buy a stand for the ministry? When you go to council, you say you want a stand, they say it's available. When you say you want something for church, automatically there's a problem. Why? The gates of hell. Gates of hell. Ayade Galata. We need to fight the gates of hell. So these powers, they first deal with pastors until they rubbish the calling. If you knew how many pastors have given up ministry because of the gates of hell. This is why pastors' children are rebellious. They are rebellious because their parents signed them up for poverty by signing up for the gospel. Is it the will of God? No. And yet Jesus said, when I sent you, did you lack anything? They said no. Why should a person sent by God be walking? Why should a pastor be a pastor and then also go and work for someone? No, when he's standing on the pulpit, he's the one in charge. And then he's under a 35-year-old who went to university. He's saying, yes, sir, yes, a whole man of God. So after the devil wrapped the hell rubbish the pastors. The next in line are the big givers. The gates of hell, they unleash powers to fight every giver. They fight your transactions. They fight your customers. They frustrate your helpers. These are the gates of hell. Who are the gates of hell? These are the spirits that tell business people not to tithe. The gates of hell, watch this, they are responsible for what is called spiritual corruption. It's converting funds intended for something to something else. So God blesses you. Are you listening? And within that blessing, there are resources that are supposed to advance the kingdom. But by spiritual corruption, you divert the funds and you use them for something else. It's the gates of hell, because they know that the only way out of poverty is funding the gospel. They know it. And after you have given, you must still fight the gates of hell, because they'll come to fight your harvest. Listen, your harvest is not automatic. It needs to be fought for. Have you seen? Sometimes the most zealous people in church are the ones who go through the biggest struggles. I've seen the people who love the work of God the most are fought the most. And I said, Lord, why? He said, don't lament, fight. Oh, you need to pray for yourself and say, Lord, deliver me from the gates of hell.